Thank you guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks to those that have subscribed, like, comment, and share to their friends and to their family. I really appreciate your kind gesture towards me. Now, I would like you to always comment and also turn off the notification button. Whenever a new video drop, you get a notification via the YouTube platform. So I remain Emmanuel Adebayo. Now, this section is going to be different from quite few number of videos I've published. In 1983, this person was taken to prison for a tax-related fraud issue. While serving his jail term, he wrote a series of letters to his son on hard-earned life lessons and career advice. These letters were later published to what we now consider the definitive book of persuasive copy. If you're into copywriting, you know what I'm talking about. He's not any other person but Gary Halbert, a very prominent person in terms of copywriting. He taught me a lot of lessons and also impacted initiative while writing my own book. While teaching his marketing student, he asked them if they are into being in a contest to see who sell the most hamburger, what would be the advantage they want for themselves. So some said if two of them are into being in a contest to see who sell the most, they will say they needed, they will reduce the price. Others says more ingredients to what they're selling. Others says the hamburger will be very big than his. And he told them that he has only one advantage. He wants only one advantage to himself, and that advantage will sell more than theirs. He told them that it's starving crowd. Now, if you watch nowadays, it's not about how good, how tasty your food is. If people are very hungry and in dear need of a thing, he will sell. If you give him a starving crowd, irrespective of the price he puts on that product, he will sell more than them. Now, and I thought about if two individuals, in my book I wrote that if two individuals are to be in a contest to see who sell the most hamburger, it will be service. Perhaps if a starving crowd are there and two individuals are in the same location, who do you think will sell the most? You have a starving crowd, they're in the same location, then one advantage, aside a starving crowd, one advantage will have one and the other, which is great service, great experience, great customer service. Without great customer service, the other one will sell. Starving crowd. I go to your shop and I see how you serve me, how you treat me, irrespective I'm starving. There's another person beside the location. I'll walk down there the next time I want to buy something, even I'm starving. This book, Letters, which was later published through a book called Bond's Letter. Guys, the letter was in chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, up to the end. But I'm going to talk about chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A great advice, a great career lesson, a great lessons for any individual. Now, I'm going to talk about the first chapter of the book. The first letter I wrote to his son. So the chapter 1, it talked about what we call urgent, not urgent, important, not important. So he gave a quote that if you take care of things that are important before they become urgent, then the only thing that become urgent will be beyond your control or important. So if you take care of things which are important before they become urgent, so the one that will be left with are the ones that are beyond your control. Now let me just go quick. Chapter 2, he spoke about many points. He said chapter 2, that was where he wrote this chapter 2 on Wednesday, June 13th, 1984. He said, he talked about what we call fasting. Fasting is very important. Fasting is, aside spirituality, so you should fast once or one day in a week. He said, currently I'm fasting every Sunday. I intend to keep fasting one day in a week for the rest of my life. When you fast, you begin to normalize your body functions, and also you develop a certain self-discipline that will help you in most other areas of your life. Body functions, tissues. He also said that fast day is the day you set aside to give your mind and body a rest. You know, when you eat, there's what we call digestion, your body system start working. However, if you fast, those body system will rest. Now, the next chapter, the next point I wrote down was He said that series of books he recommended for fasting. He said there are two other books you should look out for. He was telling his son there are two other books you should look out for: The Miracle of Fasting by Paul Bragg and Are You Confused by Paulo Ariola. That's in chapter 2. He said the point I also take note was there is no justice, there is only power. No justice, there is only power. It's a long series. I printed the book. It's a long series of notes there. He says in life, everyone must learn to deal with unnecessary grief from other people. But sometimes you are faced with a jack with the balance of power in their favor. And the only way to survive, especially with your pride intact, is to develop a mental toughness as a form of a mental harm. He was talking about a story when he was in prison that those the prisoner, most of their fellow prisoners intimidate are those that lack Moses, that lack power. So he said, aside developing your mental self or your body, you have to also develop what we call toughness, being hardened. When they see you, you become tough itself. By missing your biceps, your power, the other prisoner will run away. So he also said, nothing is impossible for a man who refuses to listen to a reason, and it served him well his whole life. A man that is self-determined, a man that is focused, there is nothing that will be impossible for him. In chapter 2, it says, it may seem obvious that each generation should do better than the next, but these days, that was in 1984, that this seems to mean money and opportunity alone. Very few people truly teach their kids anything at all. And when they do, it's usually something many others could teach, like sport or how to drive. But very few teach their kids what schools can't. Namely, to think outside the box, to have confidence, to move, and not to fear mistakes. This is seen in these days where parents, a father don't have time for their kids any longer. They come home late. They don't teach their kids what call life, how to think outside the box, about toughness, about how life would be, about relationship, about family itself. Many things are not being taught by them. Spoke about that in the book. Now in chapter 3, let me just summarize it. Don't depend on your mother or anybody else to buy or cut up your vegetable for you. It's speaking in parable for you. You should instead develop a tough, independent attitude. You see, when you depend on others, you give yourself an excuse for failure. If you depend on others, then you are giving yourself an excuse for failure. So he was saying that, don't expect your mother to buy or cut your vegetable for you. You should own up to all what you have here on earth. You shouldn't blame anybody for your mistake. He said, because when you tell people your plans to get rich, they will translate your success into their failure for not becoming rich. Let's face it, most people judge how well they have done in life by comparing themselves to their peers. And if one of their peers have become a multi-millionaire and could retire young and rich, then they will have to question their own choice. I'm just right. For anyone who thinks their friends and family will support them no matter what their goal is, tell them your plan. Tell them you plan to open a restaurant. They will only tell you more than 90% of new restaurants fail within one minute. They will give you an excuse for failure. They will never say a lot dumber people than you have opened great restaurants, so go for it. They will never tell you the other way around, that a lot of dumb people have opened and were successful. Ever notice that almost everyone who knows that statistic, you can't put current money market return. They won't tell you their statistic, the current money market return. They won't tell you about this. They won't know the statistic. They won't tell you the statistic. But however, they will want your failure. They don't want you to become that rich, according to what he was telling his son. Our school teach people on how to work within businesses, but never how to start a business. It is better to teach your kids on how to change oil in the car or how to write and hard to bring in business. It's almost as if we have all been trained to accept capitalism, trained to finish school and go and serve or go and work for another person. We have never been trained on how to write hard on copywriting or how to set up our own business. He says we have all been trained to accept capitalism. He said one of the best business book, his father, when Boron was responding to the letter, he It says, it's widely accepted, both my dad and I agree, that one of the best business books in the world is The Godfather. My dad often remarked on how to love the book and theme. One of his favorite lessons in the book was when the Godfather explained to his younger son, Michael, that he must continue to think about and go over their plans for the future. So chapter 4, let me just move down and take the vital point there. It says, defensive behavior invites aggressive action. Defensive behavior invites aggressive actions. There's a very little sympathy for a weakling. He was talking about his experience in the prison. See, there's very little sympathy for a weakling in the prison. You have to be tough. So he's telling him to use that same motive in real life. He says it's far better to rely on your own strength instead of someone else. He said you don't need to act tough, you need to be tough. You don't need to act tough, but you need to be tough. He said, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about being mean or macho. I'm also not talking about pumping iron for hours a day or getting a black belt in karate either. You don't have to do all that. Plain, simple toughness will do. To act tough, you need to be tough. You don't need to act tough itself, but you need to be tough. You might be small, but your actions and how your motive on how you do things need to be tough, not being lazy. So I want you to start getting tough and self-reliant. Nothing is as satisfying. He quoted J.D. Rockefeller. Now, chapter 5. I'm stopping at chapter 5 today. Chapter 5 is where I love the most. He spoke about a lot of things when it comes to hiring. He says, he was talking about telling his son how to make money and how to hire individuals when you're in business. He says, when someone asks me what is the number one secret to making money, I tell them they should get involved in whatever excites them the most. The lesson, what excites you the most? What you think is your skill, what you can do in a free will, even you're sleeping or you're talking to someone, is something you can do very easy. So he was telling his son that they can make money through there. It is good that money, in my opinion, especially big money, is most often a byproduct of enthusiasm. Big money is often a byproduct of enthusiasm. That's something you like the most. And he said, please remember this. When in the future you need to hire someone, always look for the most enthusiastic person, not necessarily the most qualified. The most enthusiastic person, not necessarily the most qualified. Okay? So the very first thing you must come to realize is that you must become a student of market, not product. You must become a student of market, not product. A very vital lesson over there. But be careful. You want to know what people actually do buy, not what they say they buy. What people do buy and not what they say they buy. They may tell you that I like this, I like this, I like that. What do they buy and not what they say they buy? A school or a student of marketing. Okay. He was citing an example. He said, how many people do you think who read the National Enquirer? As at that time, he said once upon he spoke about the story. So I'll read this story, then I'll call it off for today. Then our next video will continue from where we stop. So once upon a time, a beer company did a survey to find out which of their products customers prefer, and you know what, to their astonishment, they found that 80% of the people they surveyed prefer their premium beer as opposed to the regular beer. Why are they astonished? The answer is easy. You see, their sales figure were showing the most people bought their regular beer and not the premium. What's going on here? Well, for one thing, it is very common. You see, the survey people were trying to give the right answer, and so they put down an answer, the beer they felt they should drink. Now it's two different things. Two survey, like they got the beer company thought about what people like was their premium beer, and at the end of the day, the one they sell the most was the regular beer. So people will tell you what they like, but not what they want to do. Now, I don't have opportunity. Okay, I want to travel to many countries by private jet, but how how will I be able to travel to any country by private jet if I don't have a jet? But I've traveled to other countries by a normal commercial plane. So if they ask me, if you want to travel to other country, will you prefer a commercial plane or will you travel by private jet? I will tell them I'll travel by private jet. But however, what I will do is I'm going to go through a commercial plane. So he told this lesson to his son as a marketing, as a great copywriter, that people ask people what they do and not what they say they buy. So I think we should stop here. As a great lesson. We're going to meet in our next YouTube video. We'll continue from where we stop. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate your time. I think you've learned 1 or 2 lessons from this video. I want you to subscribe, put on the notification bell, and also comment. To the letter to his son is a great lesson. I didn't even say there are a lot of things there. I printed it out. It's on Amazon if you want to order it. It's on Amazon. Bonds letter. That's Gary Halbert's letter to his son. Thank you guys for this time. I really appreciate it. We'll meet in our next video.